Chapter 5. Then the pain sets in. Anna Veronica and Jacob are two of God's happiest children on planet Earth when they say goodbye, 100 times happier than when they met 10 days ago. They know that they are going to see each other again soon. Anna Veronica has noticed a change in Jacob as the days have passed. No more swearing, and the resignation and cynicism gone. She has changed too, and on the flight back home she feels all bubbly inside. Anna Veronica is smiling and laughing quietly to herself. They have set the world record in laughing, talking, and making love. The thought of having a future together makes her so happy. She wonders when they will be together. He is still married, but will get a divorce soon. She is convinced about that. Living on his own is pretty much a divorce already. It is only a matter of time. Back in Denmark, Anna Veronica tries to understand what is happening to her. She cannot get the time they had together out of her head, and she is constantly thinking about the wild and crazy energy between them. The melding, the laughing, the kissing, the goofiness, the trust, the sex, the talks, the tenderness, and the honesty. It was like nothing she had ever experienced before. Somehow it was a feeling of being connected to everything, a feeling of pure bliss. More than anything, it was like a feeling of coming home. Anna Veronica and Jacob continue to write to each other many times a day, and she is constantly checking her emails. The energy between them is still intense and fun. She is supposed to start work 2 days after she is back, but it seems as if her whole body goes into a state of shock. The first week her spine is stiff like a sword, and she has trouble moving. She feels like a tin soldier. There is no way she can stand in front of her students in that condition, so she calls the management and gives her students assignments from home. The exams are coming up in a couple of months, and they do not have much time. Anna Veronica goes back to work, but her mind starts working overtime, and before she knows it, her head is busier than a wasp's nest. She cannot get the experience out of her head and spends every opportunity checking her emails, even when at work. If there is one from Jacob, she writes him back immediately. She is so happy and sometimes has to stop herself from laughing out loud in the teacher's room. Anna Veronica starts searching the internet almost as soon as she is back. She cannot understand what is happening to her body and mind. Why can she not stop thinking about the time they spent together? It is on her mind all the time. Why is her body reacting the way it does? What is this connection? Why is she beginning to feel completely obsessed? She searches the net, reads about Kundalini awakening, soulmates, and all kinds of spiritual connections. Then she finds it. Twin flames. That's it. Oh my Lord, she has met her twin flame. Jacob is her twin flame. Okay, whatever it is, the label is not important. Some call it a divine counterpart, a kick-ass catalyst, whatever. Anna Veronica decides not to tell anyone what is happening to her. It is embarrassing. She is a mother of 3 almost grown-up children, a respected teacher, and now she is becoming like a crazy person? A few weeks later, Anna Veronica moves to a small basement apartment. It is cheaper, closer to her work, and there is 1 room for her son and 1 for her. Alexander is their youngest and is still living at home, both with his dad and with her, while the 2 oldest daughters, Malou and Julianne, have boyfriends and are living on their own. The move is tiring, but Alexander helps her, and they do it all in 1 day. The apartment is divided into 2 units with open plan living. One part has been used as a sound studio by the landlord, Oscar, and was originally a garage. It is quite dark in there, and Oscar says that he will put some windows in the wall that faces the front yard. Anna Veronica moves in and makes it as cozy as she can, but for some reason she does not empty all her boxes. Instead she leaves them in a corner. Oscar is a nice chap, and they enjoy each other's company and meet up and talk quite often. Anna Veronica cannot define what it is, but there is something about this apartment that does not feel right. After only a couple of days, she is beginning to feel uncomfortable. She does not sleep well and wakes up in the middle of the night with a feeling of dread, as if someone is after her. This is completely new to her. She usually sleeps like a baby. Anna Veronica has a growing, undefinable feeling that she should not be there. Her body is stressed out and her nerves are becoming frayed. It almost feels as if she is being haunted. What on earth is this? She is normally steady as a rock. This is so unlike her. She has weird dreams. One night she dreams that she is losing Jacob. She is calling for him. It is like calling into the deepest, endless abyss. A long, painful cry of utter despair. Jacob, she calls his name. Anna Veronica wakes up with a feeling of being absolutely lost. She is losing him. Then there is this song on the radio, a hit. The same sentence repeated again and again. Only know you love her when you let her go, and you let her go. It is everywhere, all the time. Why? The stupid song. For a moment Anna Veronica links it to Jacob. They live so far away from each other, and he is still married. How is that ever going to work out? Then her mind starts thinking about the ski resort and how it all ended. What had in fact happened back then? How could they spend that wonderful time together when it ended like that? Doubt is sneaking up on her. It had happened before. Could it happen again? Anna Veronica cannot bear the thought of that and decides to ask Jacob about it. After all, they should be honest with each other about everything, good and bad, right? There is also something else that is beginning to nag her. Not that she has given it any thought in all those years, but now she does. When Anna Veronica travels back to those last 2 weeks on the ski resort, she cringes at the memory. Many of the other adventurers have left the resort to travel or go back home, but all the other people that she has become so fond of, they lie to her. No one tells her the truth. At first everyone comes up to her, cheerful and happy as always, and asks if she has received a letter from Jacob. Then as the days pass, some begin to avoid her, and then everyone stops asking her about the letters. One of their friends, the French boy Pierre, even writes to her later to apologize. There is one woman who continues to ask though, Lizzie. Every day she sneaks up on Anna Veronica with the sly smile of a snake and asks her if she has received a letter from Jacob. Later, Anna Veronica gets to know that it is this girl who arranges the setup with Jacob and the other girl. Anna Veronica goes to work as usual, and when she is back in the apartment, she stays away from the dark part which was once a garage. There is just something in there that does not feel good. Anna Veronica decides to sleep on the floor next to Alexander's room. When she tries to change his address to the new place on the computer, everything goes wrong. It should be the easiest thing in the world, just a few clicks on the internet, but Anna Veronica ends up having to call the communer, and even the woman that she talks to there acts as if Anna Veronica is a criminal. She cannot believe it. What is happening? One night when Anna Veronica is there on her own, she cannot sleep for the heavy energy. She takes her sleeping bag and leaves the house in her car and drives until she finds a hidden spot under a tree where she can sleep. But it is cold outside, and she is awake most of the night. She does not go back to the apartment though. No way. The energy with Jacob is shifting, and he ends up asking her what was in that letter from Laundry Maggie. Anna Veronica is nostalgic by nature and has saved every letter she ever got in her whole life. So she finds the letter in an old box and translates it into English and sends it to him. This is the letter that Anna Veronica received 24 years ago. Dear friend, I have a lot of sympathy for you, and because of my conscience, I will tell you a few little stories. If you ever tell them to someone or refer to them, you must under no circumstances give the source, okay? Anyway, while I was traveling with Thomas, Steve and Jacob, we didn't really have much serious contact. Lots of fun and foolishness. Every now and then I did talk a little seriously with Jacob, and I will refer what he said. He talked about his girl in England, that he cared enough about her to spend some time with her for a while, but not for the rest of his life. He wanted first and foremost to make a career for himself and be free for a while in the future. Anna Veronica is nice and okay, but she's too young to know what she wants. Jacob's words. And he was very unsure whether he would see you again. Maybe this doesn't mean anything. Maybe it's just words. Maybe he does care about you. But if you were to write to him about what he said, you must not do that, because then he knows that it comes from me. Then I have one more story to tell you, evil as I am. Steve told me the week that we were together before I left that, quote, Jacob liked Anna Veronica very much, but during the whole stay on the ski resort, he was very interested in a French girl who worked in the kitchen, little and dark. Darcy or Daphne or something like that. I know who she is. And he was all the time trying to get to sleep with her, something he succeeded in doing the last night before he left. End of quote. Dear Anna Veronica, in a way we're in the same boat, and I don't want you to suffer more than necessary. I warned Marit, and I think it was right. I do not say this to spread evil. I think you should know for your own good. The tears I've cried over Marcus have hurt so much, and maybe I can save you from some. Write me back and tell me how things go. But be careful about saying anything about what I've said if you write to Jacob. Please. Love from Maggie. Those were the words, and now, 24 years later, Jacob reads the letter and writes back to her that Laundry Maggie never liked him. There had been an episode where she was unjustly accusing his friend Morgan of something to do with a girl, and at some point Jacob had told her to stay the hell away from his friend, who had done nothing. After that, Laundry Maggie had become strange. She was a difficult woman, always looking for drama and splitting people apart. Anna Veronica knew he was not the only person on the resort who thought this of her, and that many would say the same. Somehow, these things almost always seemed to happen without Anna Veronica's knowing, but she knew that Maggie was heartbroken herself. The Frenchman she was going to spend her life with did not leave his wife after all. Anna Veronica is grateful and relieved to have Jacob's version of the whole thing, but the emails become more distant now, and he does not write her as often as he used to. Anna Veronica finds it hard to understand. Did she ruin it? After 7 days in the apartment, Anna Veronica rings her mom. She tries to explain her feelings about the new place, but after a couple of minutes she starts crying and is so shaken that she cannot seem to stop. She has never done that before. Usually she is strong as a horse. I don't know what it is. She is struggling to find words to describe how she is feeling. But has it been like this since you moved in? Her mom is worried. Yes, but it's getting worse. It's mostly this one part. It used to be a garage once, and Oscar has used it as a sound studio. It's so uncomfortable in there. I avoid it as much as I can." Her mom is listening. "Don't you think you should look for somewhere else to stay?" Anna Veronica knows she is right, but the thought of moving again makes her heart sink. "If it doesn't stop, I will have to." She's struggling to understand. "It's as if I'm not supposed to be here." She looks around the room. Then something dawns on her. Wait. When she continues, she speaks as much to herself as to her mom. "I think there is someone here." Oh dear, all the things you have to go through in your life. It is not the first time her mom says those words to her. Yes, I can feel it. I don't know. Maybe someone has committed suicide in here at some point and is haunting the house. You never know, it could be. Anna Veronica is thankful that her mom is open to these things. She has experienced enough otherworldly phenomena herself to simply dismiss it. "I will ask the landlord about the house." Anna Veronica feels calmer now. "That's a good idea, and I think you should look for another place to stay as soon as possible." "Yes, I will. Take good care of yourself." From her mom's voice, Anna Veronica can tell that she cares about her. "Thank you, and you too. Take care." They end the conversation. Anna Veronica looks at her watch. It is past midnight, but she knows that Oscar usually goes to bed very late. She decides to see if he is awake and writes him a text message. He is, and a few minutes later, Anna Veronica knocks on his door. He is happy to see her. Come in, come in." "Thank you. I hope you don't mind a visit so late." No. I always go to bed very late, and you're always welcome." Sometimes Anna Veronica has a feeling that he would be interested in more than just a friendship, but she has told him about Jacob to avoid any misunderstandings. They sit down on the sofa. She ponders a little about how to go about it. "Oh, well, you see, I want to ask you about the history of this house. If you know anything from back in time." Somehow Oscar seems to pick up right away why she is there. He looks at her in surprise. "Oh, yes, there is a man here, and he is mad at women. It is Mr. Jacobson." Anna Veronica is speechless. "Ah, Mr. Jacobson?" "Yes, he used to live here, and he is very protective of this house." Oscar looks at her puzzled. "I just didn't realize you were so sensitive." "Okay, I didn't know that either. So, this Mr. Jacobson, are you saying that he doesn't like women?" No, he's very mad at women. Is he bothering you?" "Well, yes, you could say that. He definitely doesn't like my being here." "I'll be damned. But that's not his business. I have an agreement with him, and he leaves me alone." "I see, and do you know anything else about him?" Then Oscar tells her what he knows about Mr. Jacobson. He was the first owner of the house and worked as a gardener. He lived together with his first wife in a loving relationship, but she died from a chronic lung disease due to being a heavy smoker. Later, Mr. Jacobson got married to another woman who did not look after the place, and it was a bad marriage with no affection. Oscar tells her that Mr. Jacobson is still here to look after the place. Anna Veronica is listening with a mix of disbelief and great interest. "Thank you for letting me know. It makes a lot of sense that he doesn't want me here. I mean, if he thinks that women do not look after the place." It crosses her mind that she does not really like the apartment that much. Maybe he's insulted. "Well, he's dead and has no right to decide anything about who lives here and who does not. It's my house now." Oscar seems a little unsettled. She laughs a little. "Well, We'll see. Is there anything else you can tell me? Anna Veronica is eager to know as much as possible to see if there is a clue to how she can work with it. Oscar searches his mind. Well, yes, the yellow rose was his first wife's favorite flower, and there used to be a bench outside in the garden where they would sit together. Anna Veronica nods her head slowly. The yellow rose. She has a recollection from her childhood about a yellow rose. Yes, Oscar nods his head. Okay, thank you so much. I think I will go back down and see if I can get some sleep. It's work tomorrow, you know. She gets up to leave. Sleep well. I'll contact Jonathan tomorrow. He's a friend of mine and a clairvoyant, and he can send lost souls to the other side. Okay, thank you. Anna Veronica smiles. The next day Anna Veronica burns some sage, which is a herb used for smudging. It is a tradition common among many indigenous people with the intention of cleansing places and people of negative energies. She walks around the apartment while the smoke spreads in every corner of the rooms and the sweet familiar smell fills the air. She did that when she moved in as well, but more is needed. She can still not get through on the internet and change Alexander's address, no matter how many times she tries. Anna Veronica has never spoken directly to a dead person before, but now might be the time. Okay, Mr. Jacobson, can you help me out here? I need to change my son's address. It is still the same. She cannot get through. Mr. Jacobson, I promise you that we won't stay here, but I really need to change the address for my son while we live here. Anna Veronica has already made up her mind that she will not stay, but she has to give 1 month's notice and will have to find another place to live. Mr. Jacobson, I promise you that I will move as soon as I can. On the next attempt at changing the address, everything goes smoothly. She breathes a huge sigh of relief. The next day Anna Veronica buys 2 bouquets of yellow roses. She arranges them beautifully in 2 vases, one for the table in the dark part of the apartment, the other in the light part where she and Alexander are staying. These are in memory of your first wife, Mr. Jacobson. Do you remember her? Anna Veronica looks at the beautiful roses and caresses them gently with her fingertips. She drifts back to her childhood memory. Anna Veronica is probably around 9. She's with her mom and dad and her siblings on a summer holiday in Denmark. They are visiting some friends of her parents, a lovely elderly couple with a large rose garden. It is their pride and joy, and they want to make it a special experience for everyone to be there, so they have a little competition for the children to see who can find the most beautiful rose. They are all eager to find it and start walking around in the garden. Anna Veronica is all by herself, looking at the roses. The most beautiful rose? Which one could it be? She stops by a bush with yellow roses. She looks at the beautiful flower. This is the one. This is the most beautiful rose. But when she comes back to the grown-ups, they tell her she has got it wrong. The most beautiful rose is a red rose that some of the other children have found. Even back then, Anna Veronica wondered how anyone else could decide which rose she thought was the most beautiful. For the next 3 days, Anna Veronica talks to Mr. Jacobson, reminding him of his first wife and the beauty of love and life, the taste of wonderful food and the joy of being alive on a beautiful summer's day. She tells him that he is dead now and has nothing more to do here on earth. It is not his job to look after the house anymore. He should let go and meet his beloved first wife again. Anna Veronica smudges and makes the place look as pretty as she can. When Jonathan, the clairvoyant, comes, Alexander is also there, and he looks more and more puzzled as he is listening to the grown-ups talk about Mr. Jacobson. At some point, he asks them if he's the only normal person there. They all laugh, and even more so when he shows them a ghost app on his mobile phone, and Jonathan goes into the apartment to see if there is any signal. A little later, when Jonathan has done the official cleansing of the place and comes out, he can tell them that there were only tiny remnants of consciousness in there, and that was all. Anna Veronica is relieved. She has, after all, talked to Mr. Jacobson for 3 days. Anna Veronica wonders about the whole thing. Is there a parallel to her and Jacob in everything that is happening now? The dream that she is losing him, this angry Mr. Jacobson, in love with his first wife whom he lost, then unhappily married, his anger towards women. Shortly after, Anna Veronica moves again. Oscar has been trying to make her change her mind and has arranged for carpenters to come and put in the new windows. She's being as polite about it as she can, but she has already made up her mind. Besides, she promised Mr. Jacobson that she would move. She can see the hurt in Oscar's face, and at some point, to her surprise, he seems to become very distressed about it. This is so strange. Anna Veronica wonders. Mr. Jacobson must have been in a lot of despair when he realized that his first wife was dying, probably doing everything he could to try and make her stay. Is it possible that there is a parallel to what is happening now? On the day of the move, 2 of Anna Veronica's close friends come and help her. She is so grateful. She has packed her stuff in boxes, rented a van, and is moving to a house that she has found through a woman that she knows from the grandmother circle. She is renting it for a year from a family who are going abroad to work. It is a huge house, a little old and worn, but the rent is cheap, and there is a big lovely garden for their dog Odin. When Anna Veronica meets the couple, she tells them why she is moving and about her encounter with Mr. Jacobson. The man is listening carefully to her story with a kind of brooding expression. "Did you say his name was Mr. Jacobson and that he was a gardener?" "Yes," Anna Veronica nods. "Well, I have worked in mental health all my life, and many years back we had a patient named Mr. Jacobson who used to work as a gardener. He was the kind of patient that you never forget." Anna Veronica looks at him in surprise. Then she realizes what he's saying. This patient was so challenging that he would never forget him. "Really? Do you think it could be the same man?" "It could be. You never know. I mean, how many people in this area with that name used to work as a gardener?" The man lifts his shoulders. "Well, I sure as heck will never forget him either." Anna Veronica sighs and smiles in relief. Anna Veronica moves in, rearranges the house, unpacks the boxes, and goes to work. 2 weeks before the exams, she's beginning to feel dizzy from all the stress. Since New Year, many of her colleagues have commented upon the amount of work she has, and at some point, Anna Veronica is almost swaying, feeling as if the ground under her feet is unstable. She hangs in there and finishes the school year. With the summer holidays coming up, Anna Veronica is eager and hopeful that she and Jacob will meet again. They still have email contact almost daily, but the intensity from the first meeting is gone. They are mostly neutral now, which is only natural. It is the distance and the nature of email contact. He tells her that he is going to England for 3 weeks to see his family during the holidays, and Anna Veronica asks him if there is a chance that they can meet up for a day or 2. She could fly over, but he cannot make it. Anna Veronica is bewildered and hurt. It is his holiday, and he cannot meet up. There is almost no word from him for 3 weeks while he is there, and when she finally hears from him, he asks her if she wants to come and see him in France later in the summer. But Anna Veronica does not want that anymore. There is not one word about any upcoming divorce. Things are changing between them. Jacob is becoming more distant in his emails, and sometimes days will pass before there is a word from him. Anna Veronica is still constantly checking her inbox, but always waits before responding. She does not want to seem pushy, but her heart is aching. Did she ruin it? Every now and then she touches upon the subject of the two of them, very carefully, but it always makes Jacob withdraw even more. He shuts down and does not respond. So she stops. From now on, Anna Veronica's mind takes absolute control. No matter what she tries, her head is like a mad, constantly churning radio station. She thought she knew how to quiet her mind, with meditation, all the workshops she has been to, and all the books she has read. Walks in nature almost always do the trick, but now nothing works. Nothing at all. She is obsessed. She checks her email every time she has a chance. Why can't she stop doing this? This is not who she is. This is not who she wants to be. In fact, this is everything she does not want to be. A needy person. And if there is one thing Jacob hates more than anything, it is exactly that. With her mind going crazy, Anna Veronica is constantly giving her power away. She knows it, but no matter what she tries, she cannot seem to do anything about it. She cannot control it. There is no way she is going to tell anyone what is happening to her, least of all Jacob. How can she possibly explain to anyone that she is becoming obsessed? No way. It's much better to put up a big smile and pretend that all is well. The best thing she can do now is to hide from everyone that she's losing her mind, and that nothing she does seems to be able to stop it. Her monkey mind has gone bananas. Bonkers. The pain in Anna Veronica's body is getting worse. The nature of this pain is so hard to define, but at times it feels totally overwhelming and all-consuming to her system. Even her breathing is affected sometimes. What is this pain? She is confused. She always used to be a strong and healthy person. What is happening to her? Does it come from the pain of longing to be together? The longing of being in that state of absolute pure bliss and happiness together? In the beginning, Anna Veronica tries to talk to some of her best friends about Jacob. The obsession in her head comes out as words. They all listen attentively, but everyone knows that a married man is a no-go. Anna Veronica never thought she would ever have anything to do with a married man. It is just that this man happens to be Jacob. But there is still not a word about any divorce. From what he has told her, it is anything but easy, and Anna Veronica knows. When she goes back to work after the summer holiday, she gets the most challenging class she has ever had. Many of the students have already faced hardships in their own lives and are having a hard time coping and learning. There are stories of drugs, depressions, and other diagnoses. Anna Veronica finds that teaching in this class is almost impossible. She has never experienced anything like it. After a month, she gets in touch with what she calls her inner Nazi. She is furious and her voice is thundering with rage when they show disrespect. Anna Veronica never makes it personal, though. She knows that it will only make them turn against her. Being furious works, and some of the girls tell her later that they were in fact afraid of her. Anna Veronica cannot believe it. Afraid of her? She who is the kindest, most warm-hearted person ever. She is feeling more and more exhausted and is beginning to dread this class. Thank God she has got 2 less challenging classes as well, otherwise she might have started to doubt herself. That autumn Anna Veronica goes through menopause. It is over in a couple of months and is such an easy process for her, just like her mom before her. They are so much alike in many ways. She knows how some women struggle with this time in their lives, and she is grateful. What she is not fully aware of at the time is that she has begun to put on weight. Later that autumn, Anna Veronica turns 47, and she invites some of her closest friends to a small get-together. Every now and then she still talks about Jacob, although less and less these days. There is not much to say. He does not remember her birthday, so she writes him that she is now officially 1 year younger. There is a happy birthday, Miss Bergheim, from him. Her friends are all wonderful, sensitive women, and at some point the most clear-sighted of them looks at her with compassion. I can see that you're in pain. Have you tried to go out in the woods and scream from the top of your lungs? Just cry it all out. Anna Veronica shakes her head with a gentle smile. She knows her friend means well, but she feels numb on the inside. There have been times in her life when she has shouted and screamed like a mad person to release anger and frustration, and she knows how effective it can be. But now Anna Veronica cannot get herself to shout or scream or cry at all. In fact, nothing seems to help. After some time, she stops talking about the connection to Jacob to anyone, unless they ask her directly. How can she expect anyone to understand something she is struggling to understand herself? Besides, it is her journey. She will just have to deal with it. She still searches the internet for information on twin flames and finds one man on YouTube that she resonates with. She watches his videos and finds them very helpful. They help her understand what this connection is about, and at some point she has a consultation with him on Skype. One of the things he says sticks with her. Remember this, he has been trained to feel guilty. He's referring to Jacob. What Anna Veronica does not know is that she will continue to watch videos and seek information on twin flames for many years, and what she never imagined in her wildest dreams is that a few years later she will begin to make her own YouTube videos about her own twin flame journey. That autumn, Anna Veronica makes an unexpected discovery. Her grandma's poetry collection, containing almost 350 poems altogether. She has had them in her drawer for years, a huge stack, wanting to read them. It was Anna Veronica's uncle, her mom's youngest brother, who sent her copies many years ago, but she has never found the time to read them before. Now she sits down and begins reading one poem after the other, night after night. Anna Veronica is truly surprised. She knew that Grandma wrote poems, but never expected anything like this. Many of them bring tears to her eyes, and she's very impressed by the quality of her writing. As she continues to read, Anna Veronica can feel her heart expanding. Through these poems, she's getting to know her own grandma in a whole new way. How wise and spiritual she was, how funny and down-to-earth she was. She discovers how much Grandma loved her own children and family, how much she believed in Jesus, her love for nature, and even how war and suffering affected her. Anna Veronica is getting to know Grandma's inner life, and it is beautiful. To her, these poems are like a treasure waiting to be discovered, and she knows that if she ever gets the chance, time and money, she would love to publish them.